Hey YouTube, Tim here. I'm going to do a quick video on my 2009 Harley-Davidson Road King. It's a Road King Classic, so that would be an FLHRC. Bought this motorcycle in May of 2021, and it had 5,621 miles on it when I bought it, so it's a very low mileage bike. My son found this bike for me. He was working at a shop in Southeast Florida, Coral Springs, Florida. Name of the shop is Dynasty Cycles. Shout out to Gabe and the guys at Dynasty Cycles. If you're in that area and you need work on your bike, those are the guys to see. They are absolutely fantastic. Anyway, I had a 2003 Yamaha V-Star 1100 Classic Silverado, which I really liked. I regret selling that bike. It was a fantastic bike. And I had taken it on a trip and just got blown all over the highway by semi-trucks and things like that. And I was looking for a bigger, heavier touring bike. But this is kind of the setup I like, just a windshield. I don't listen to the radio. I just kind of wanted a bare bike. And I was looking for a classic. I was actually looking for a Yamaha Stradaliner, but I couldn't find one with low miles. And this bike came into the shop to get freshened up, to be put up for sale. My son called me and told me about it. The Classic has wire wheels, wireless lace spoke wheels with tubes on it. It has these leather-covered bags. They're hard bags. They're leather-covered bags that go on there. So the price was right. The miles was low. My son did the history on the bike, so I bought it. Went down to Florida with a trailer, picked it up, brought it home. I was still working at the time. Did that in the weekend. Came back and took it immediately over to the Harley-Davidson dealership across the street from where I worked and had them do a complete fluid change on it and give it a once-over, and immediately took it on a trip. I had planned on taking my V-Star on a trip, but I got this bike and I wanted to try it. I thought the trip was longer. I thought the trip we took was 1,000 miles, but it wasn't. We went from upstate South Carolina up, and we rode a little bit of the Blue Ridge Parkway. We rode the Dragon a bunch of times. We rode the Chiola Skyway. Did a bunch of touring around. I rode it kind of aggressively for me. A lot of upshifting and downshifting really hard, and cornering and accelerating and stuff like that. So it was really only a 600-mile trip that I took, a little over 600 miles. Anyway, during that trip, the transmission started screaming. It really started whining, and I did a little bit of research and read that the self-adjusting primary chain tensioners have a tendency to tighten up, especially when you ride them like that. So after the trip, I came home and pulled the cover, the side cover. Sure enough, the self-adjusting ratcheting tensioner was so tight that there was zero play in my primary chain cold. I think they're supposed to be like 5/8 of an inch to 11/16 of an inch, something like that, play cold. Typically, it was where they went, but it had ratcheted itself out super tight. And that tension increases with heat. Those shafts actually move apart from one another, the main shaft and the engine, and the shaft and the transmission, they actually separate, so it actually would have less tension hot. So it was screaming. Did a little research and decided to put a Hayden primary chain tensioner in it. Let me look at my records here, and I did that at 6,251 miles. This motorcycle now has about 17,800. I just did a service on it, 17,622 miles. Did not change the primary fluid yet because I wanted to look at this tensioner. But I changed the oil and the transmission fluid like I do, and it had 17,622 on it when I did that. And I haven't ridden it very far. I took a little ride with one of my friends last weekend. But so anyway, I guess that would put the Hayden tensioner at having roughly, what would that be, 11,200, 11,400-ish miles on it. And I wanted to take a look at it. There's a couple of things that can happen with these. So I wanted to pull the cover and inspect it just to see what happened. Now, when I put it in, I noticed you could hear, and it did exactly what Hayden said it would do. It's going to make like a whizzing noise at first as the chain rode over the shoe and cut grooves in the shoe, which it did do. And the whizzing noise was there for a little while, and then it went away, just like Hayden said it was. I also noticed that immediately after installing it, when I shut the bike off, I got a clunk out of this area. oh, it sounds like a compensator. I did not have that noise before I put this in here. And little research, found a guy on YouTube whose name I'm forgetting, but he actually has a channel. And he has a Road King about the same year. And he heard the same thing in his bike, so he got another cover, taped cardboard around it, and took his cover off, taped cardboard, and ran his bike with the cover off so you could watch it. And when he shut the bike off, you can literally see this tensioner, which is spring-loaded, kind of smack against the bottom when you shut the bike off. Whack, 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 whack. So his did that as well. He wanted to know if it was something coincidental that happened, so he did that. And that's what it was. It wasn't anything else. So I am certain that the noise I hear when I shut the bike off clunk, clunk, is that. It's been doing it ever since I put that in. Didn't do it before. First time I shut it off, I heard it. But I wanted to look at this Hayden tensioner. It's a spring-loaded tensioner, just to see how it was doing. Grab my flashlight here. Sorry about that. And I wanted to check the shoe wear. And the shoe wear looks actually really good. So, on your chain, these are high spots, right? And the rollers are low spots. So when you first put it in, your chain just rides, your shoe just rides, on the bottom side, on the high spots. So it cuts grooves in the tensioner until it wears down to where it's all contacting the shoe, which this one did. And that's exactly the wear I have, and I don't have any more wear. If you look up underneath there, you can see that the contour of that shoe right there follows the chain. And I have no more wear than that. It still looks great. So I don't see any shoe damage. The other thing that happens with these is inside there. Try to get where you see that. There are springs underneath that shoe. Let me show you how this works. Watch this. It's a spring-loaded tensioner. So there are springs, and this shoe guide runs in a guide here, and there's the same guide on the back. When you install it, you set this gap by shimming it. This one needed 0 shims, actually, to put this where it needed to be. This one, actually, when I installed this, was perfect, according to Hayden. And I forget what the spec is, but you set this gap, and that's what you roll with. And I noticed that my full extension is right about 5/8 of an inch when I measure that, which is exactly what they want. But that is a double coil spring directly underneath that shoe. It's a smaller inner spring and a wider outer spring. And the thing that I've read that's happened is the smaller inner spring will break, and you will find pieces of it in here, and then your spring will get very weak. Well, mine has not deteriorated at all. I have no spring pieces. It is very stiff still. And that was the other thing I wanted to check. So I just wanted to show that in case any of you hadn't seen one of those Hayden primary chain tensioners. It quieted the bike down. It made finding neutral way easier than it was when I got it. When I got it, I couldn't find neutral in this motorcycle, period. The two things I did to improve that was the Hayden made a big difference. The Hayden chain tensioner made a big difference. And then putting redline transmission fluid in the transmission helped as well. When I changed my fluids, I checked the magnets for metal and for things like that in my primary, which I would expect. There was a slight amount of metal on the magnet. I've already cleaned it off. Probably should have saved that. But I would expect that with this compensator doing its thing, clacking back and wearing back and forth, you're going to have metal wear there. You've got a chain riding on teeth, you're going to have wear there. So it was a very small amount. My engine oil drain plug, which I actually went over on this last oil change. First time in my life I went over on the mileage. I like to change them at 4,000 miles. I'll allow it to 5,000 miles because that's what as far as the engine oil goes, because that's what the manual says. I actually went almost 6,000 miles. I'm ashamed of myself for doing that because that's not me. But I did a lot of riding this past year, a lot of it. Normally, I change my fluids in the spring and I'm good to go for the year. But I started to do some riding. I went to Texas, went to Florida, did a lot of riding. But I had 0 metal, and I mean 0 metal on my transmission drain plug and 0 metal on my engine oil drain plug magnets, 0. So I feel really good about those. A little bit of metal that I had on this I would expect. The chain itself looks good. I'm not seeing any spots on the rollers. I'm not really seeing anywhere on my teeth. on any of the teeth. So, yeah, pretty happy. Going to clean this out, install a new gasket, and fill it with fresh fluid. New gasket, new seal around the derby cover. Probably go ahead and adjust my my clutch while I'm in here. It's a little bit easier to do with that cover off, just to go ahead and do it. I haven't done that since I was last in here. And we will call it good. But I just wanted to show that. I love this motorcycle. It is exactly what the doctor ordered. I set the speed control. Semis don't blow me around on the highway. It's a big, heavy motorcycle. I don't ride fast. It's completely stock. 96-inch V-twin. Done nothing to it. I put a different set of cheap mufflers on it because with the original mufflers, the bike was so quiet. My son also has a V-Star, and if with Vance and Hines mufflers on it, as my V-Star had on it. And if I rode with him, I literally couldn't hear my bike. Didn't know when to shift. There's no tack, obviously. So I had to be able to hear my bike, so I put some louder mufflers on it. Cheapies. Wasn't sure I was going to like them. And they're already showing some wear and some light rust, so I'll probably, once they really fail, I'll probably buy some decent ones. But I love this motorcycle. Pushing 18,000 miles. Going to do some more big traveling. I did recently purchased off of Amazon these stretch bags. And then I found this tour pack. A guy was selling this tour pack used, so I bought it. It's got a upgraded seat back on it. I'm not really a tour pack guy, but my friend has an Ultra Limited, and his has a tour pack, and the way he packs kind of intrigues me. We leave a hotel and it takes him about 2 minutes to get going. Me, I've always been saddlebags, carry my necessities, bike cover, rain gear, tools, extra oil, just accessories that I would normally carry on the bike. They live on the bike. And then I have I've got a Harley-Davidson luggage rack and a backrest. I've got the small backrest pad and the big backrest pad for when I'm carrying a passenger, which is never. But I normally just tie bags. I've got these waterproof bags that I tie to the back and I tie to that. But it still takes me 10 minutes to ratchet strap them down to the bike in the morning. When my buddy comes out, he flips over the saddlebags, drops his suitcases in there, puts his minimal accessories that he needs in there. He carries his jump box and all that stuff up there. And if he's got a backpack or something with extra, he just straps it right there. And he's ready to go in like 2 seconds. So we're going to try that. I wanted the hard bags. I wanted the bigger bags. I think they look better. We'll see. Jury's still out if the tour pack's going to stay or not. My wife said she might actually try riding the bike with the tour pack. She thinks she might feel better. But I do have a question for you guys. I kind of like the way the black bags look. Not so much the black tour pack. But I have a question for you guys. If you think I should color match, get the bags and the tour pack painted to match the bike, or leave them black. This is a blue pearl, flame pearl, I believe it's called. I love the color of this bike. I'm kind of a sucker for blue bikes. And they probably would look really good blue. But let me know what you think. If you think I should leave them black or paint them pearl up. The tour pack's not going to live on the bike. Although it's weird, the bike seems to ride better with it on there. But it's probably not going to live on the bike. I'll probably take that off because I ride typically with nothing on there. And I just put my stuff in my saddlebags. But let me know what you guys think. Black or blue? Should I get them color matched? I got some work to do to this. When he put the back seat on, it's not quite straight, so I'm going to remount that. When I change the locks into this lock is funny. It's a factory cheap tumble lock. How many slots do you see for the barrel key? I see one. So it's unlocked right now. When you lock it, you can't take the key out because there's no slot to pull the key out. So when they manufactured this lock, they only cut one slot in it. But I'm going to see if I can go to Harley and get some tumblers for the saddlebags and for the backrest that will match the key to the bike. Maybe I can order those keyed to the bike, which would be great. Have one key. These are the later model bags. I have them locked right now. I should have found that, but I like this because you just flip up this lever and they open. You don't have to do all this stuff. You can just flip that open at a stoplight. If you need to get something, close it, and you're good to go. But that was it. Just wanted to do that. One of the things I had to get done. So let me know what you think. Take care.